Hello everyone, I'm Siddharthan. This is the seventh topic in our complete Python course where we will be discussing about string formatting. Strings are a very important data type that we have in Python, and in some cases we would have to dynamically create these strings instead of hard coding something or just putting some static string value. Sometimes we have to replace a part of the string and kind of use this in our coding scenarios. So in this video, let's see how we could do these different kinds of formatting with the string so that it would be helpful for our different coding scenarios, as I said. So this will be the agenda for today's video, and let's get started. So I'm going to do this particular piece of codes in my Jupyter notebook. So I hope that you have already set up your Jupyter notebooks or like other IDEs that you'll be working on. So first I'll say name is equal to John. So let's say that we are taking a person's name in this variable called as John. So here we are assigning this value called as John to this variable. So the last video, the sixth topic, was on variables in Python. So I hope that you are clear with that. And now let's say that I want to add this to a different string. So let's say that output is a string which says my name is John. So this is the output that we want, but let's say that this person's name can change. So what I'll do is I can say my name is and put a plus sign and use this variable here. So this says name is equal to John, and I'm saying my name is plus name, where this my name is part is a string, as this is enclosed in a double quotes, whereas this is not in double quotes. So that's basically the variable that we are using. So now what I can do is print this output. So what this plus sign will do is basically combine these two strings that we have. So this would say my name is John, but the thing is here we won't see any space between them, as you can see, because when you use this plus symbol there, it's going to combine this first string with the second string that we have. So this second string is nothing but John. So if you want a space, you can put a space here, or you can just add that as a string as well. So you can say something like this. So you can open double quotes here and just use one space between these two quotes. So now you can run this, and that's going to add a space between them. So this is how you can concatenate two strings, and this is like one of the things that we again often do. So now let's say that we want to add or we want to combine another data type to this. So here let's say name is equal to John and age is, let's say, 35, and I'm going to say output is equal to my name is, I'm putting a space here itself and using plus sign and saying name. So as you can see, I'm putting this part in double quotes, but as this name is a variable, I'm not putting that on quotes, and I'm going to say plus, again leave a space here, and I am again leave a space, plus age plus years old. So this basically has to say that my name is John and I'm 35 years old. So let's say that this is the output that we are expecting, and then we are storing this entire string in this variable called as output. So finally we can print this output. So now what we are doing is trying to combine multiple pieces of strings. So here we have, like, let's say this is one substring, and then we have like another part of the string that we have to do, and similarly we have like several pieces of the string. But the one difference is that this age is not a string, it is an integer. So let's see what would happen if we add this string and an integer. So it says it's a type error, so can only concatenate string, not integer to string. So this basically is saying that, so you're trying to combine a string and an integer, and that is not allowed in Python. So in order to avoid this, what we can do is convert this age 35 number into a string. So you can just put str, which stands for string, and within parenthesis put your age here. So that's going to convert this 35 number into a string. I'll show you how this works. So let's say that num is equal to, that represents a number, and let's say number is equal to 30. And if I just print the type of this num, it's going to say it's an integer. But I'll call this as number string. I'll say number underscore string. So this is the variable name, and I'm going to say string of number, which is basically going to convert this 30 into a string number, and now print its type. And now it says sorry, I have to say num_str. So this is now kind of converted to string. So once we do this conversion, then we can add this to other strings. So basically do the concatenation operation, and you can maybe print this num string and number. So we have 30, and number will also look click 30, but you can, instead of print, you can just say num string. So as you can see, this num string is in quotes because this is a string, but if you just type a number here, it's going to give 30. So this is another sign using which you can understand if it's a number or a string. So here this number is in the form of a string, as we can see the single quotes here, but in the case of this one we are not seeing any code, so it's in the form of an integer, as we can see the type here. So in this case, as we have seen, we cannot add an integer to a string. So what I'll do is I'll just keep this original code. Let us keep this error here so that you can understand why we got that error. And now I'll convert this number into a string. And now let's run this. So now it says my name is John and I'm 35 years old, because now all these pieces are strings. So we have converted this integer age into a string. So this is how you can do like basic string concatenation in Python. So I can create a new cell and maybe I'll just move this upwards and convert this into a markdown cell and say this is for string concatenation. And you can actually use a hash symbol, so that's going to create a section. So what would happen is you would see this drop down. So if you click this drop down, so all the cells are going to get collapsed here. So if you want to see all the cells, you can click here, right? So this is like one interesting way to kind of build codes in sections. So this, let's say this section is for string concatenation, and then we are going to do some formatting and all that. You can use this hash symbol. So later you can again create another section. Let me show you how you can do that. If you want the string concatenation to look slightly smaller, you can just increase the number of hash that you're using. So if you increase the hash, the size is going to decrease, so you can just like collapse it as well. So now if you want to create a new section, again convert this to a markdown, as you can see here, or you can just click here and type just m and say that let's say let's call this as string formatting or something. Let's say that this is a section 2, and now I'm going to again add 3 hash symbol over here. So now I can collapse these things. So this will be my first section and this will be my second section. So this is how you can kind of organize your code in separate sections in a notebook. So that's like the other thing that you can learn in this video. So first we have discussed about the string concatenation. So now let's basically look at like the different ways to kind of do this. So previously we have just like built this individual pieces of strings and then we have added it, right? So now we can see how we can do this formatting or basically substitute part of the string. So now this part will be string formatting with percentage operator. Okay, so percentage is like one of the operators, arithmetic operators that we have, that's basically used for this division, and that would give you the reminder. But let's discuss about that later. Just remember that we are going to use this percentage operator. So now I can say, let's use maybe print statements for easier explanations. I can say my name is percentage yes, and I am percentage d years old. Okay, and let's create name and age here for this particular section. You can use the same name and age, but let me create a new one. So I'll say name is equal to, let's put that on quotes. So this is a string, and let's say age is equal to 25. So this is going to be a integer. So now after this print my name is percentage is I am, I'm going to say add another percentage, open and close parenthesis, say name comma age, and run this. So now we have not concatenated, so we have not used this like by just like adding separate pieces of the code. So we have used like another efficient way where we say that my name is percentages and I'm percentage d yes old. So what this will do is percentage yes is going to be used to insert a string into another string, or let's say it's going to add a substring to this string. So in this case the substring is nothing but Jane. So this percentage yes basically takes in this name attribute and it's going to add it in this particular part of the string, and percentage d is used to insert an integer into the string. So here you don't have to do that conversion. So when we say percentage d, so all this that we did here, right, so that happens like automatically within this particular piece of code, where it basically this percentage yes will replace this part with the name, and this percentage d, so it's used to replace the integer, so it's going to take in this age. So this is how you can kind of substitute some of these values in the string, and you can write this like outside the print statement itself. So it's not that it should be used within the print statement. So I'll just like copy this and show this to you. So it should be, so first we should have this entire string, and we should include, let's say, percentage d, or like whatever we want, and then use another percentage sign, and within your parenthesis put name, age, and so on. So similarly you can do any number of insertion within the string. So here we have name and age as two parameters, right? So similarly you can have any number of substitutions that you want to have, and then finally you can also print this output. So my name is Jane and I'm 25 years old. But the thing is, like, these are like older ways of doing this. I mean, we don't use this often. I'll also show you like the one that we kind of frequently use in recent time, and it's like kind of the widely used one and efficient way for this, string formatting. And there is another kind of old method. I mean, it's, I wouldn't say old, but it's like not that much used. But let's just look at that as well. So this is for string formatting using dot format method. So this is a different method. So here I can say, let's use again the print statement. Again, all this can be used without the print statement as well, as I have shown here, but let's just use this print so that we can output whatever we are writing as well. So I'm going to say my name, oh sorry, within quotes, my name is, I'm closing and opening and closing curly braces, and I'm saying, and I am years old. And later I can say dot format name comma age. So let's understand this. So basically these are the two places where I need to substitute my name, and I have to substitute the number that we have in this age. So using this dot format method, you can use this curly braces. So here we have two curly braces, right? So it says my name is, and then we have opening and closing of curly braces, and then we have second curly braces here. And after this string, you can use this dot format without any comma or anything. Just like put a dot and type in format, and within that you can pass in the parameters that you want to replace. So when I say name and age, the first curly braces are going to be replaced with this name parameter, and the second opening and closing of curly braces will be replaced with this age. So let's run this. So it says my name is Jane and I'm 25 years old. So it's pretty much like what we have done here, but just using this dot format method. So again, you can copy this thing and put this in put this separately in a variable as well. So something like, let's say, output, paste this here and print your output. So my name is Jane and I'm 25 years old. So we had the same variable name output here, but we have now kind of updated that variable with this string. Okay, so again, if you want, you can use different variable names, but like that's not important at all. So you can use the same names too. So that's not going to create any conflicts for us. Like for now, it's not going to create any issues. And again, there are different ways we can do this. So here I'll say the same thing, this print statement that we have. And here I can say 1 and 0. And I'm going to replace this by age comma name. So instead of saying name and age, I'm going to say age and name. So what this will do is, as I said in the previous video, in Python indexing starts from 0, or like you basically start counting from 0. So you count like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So you wouldn't start with 1, 2, 3, and so on. So when I say 0, it means the first value that you have in this parenthesis. So you look at this parenthesis, and let's say that this would have the address of 0 or the index of 0. This would have the index of 1. Okay, so this would be something like this. So 1, 0 comma 1. So 0 represents the position of age. Okay, so the 0th position or the first position. So the second position is name, which is the index of 1. So we have 0 and 1. So using that index, you can replace the values here. So here I can say my name is 1. So that's going to take the value that's present in the index 1, that is nothing but name, and 0 is nothing but the index age. So this is how you can, it doesn't matter like what's the order that you are using here. So it can be age, name, or any number. You all you have to do is just put that indexing number here so that it's appropriately substituted. So if you don't do this right, so what would happen is that age would come first and then name would come second. So it would say my name is 25 and I'm Jane years old if we have like changed this order. So if you want to fix that, you're going to put 1, which is the position of name, and 0, which is the position of age. So similarly, you can have multiple values as well, as I said in the previous case. So you can have multiple values, and all those values would have some index associated to it. And this is how you can do this. The other way to do this would be something like this. So instead of having this one, I can say name. So put that name within this curly braces itself and the age within this itself. So here you can replace your age and name. So here I can say name is equal to, let's say, Jack or something, and age is equal to 35. So in this place you can just assign the values instead of assigning it previously and replacing it. You can just use this method, which is like use my name is, use the same variable name that you are going to use later here and year as well. So age within this is, and the main thing is you have to put that in a curly braces. So then only the interpreter knows that we want to replace this part of the string. So later we use is Jack and age 35. So basically within the string, so this part along with the curly braces should be replaced with Jack, and this age along with the curly braces should be replaced with the age, which is 35. So let's run this and it would say my name is Jack and I'm 35 years old. So this is a we can do this particular piece. It's just like different way of using this dot format. So it's like same method, but there are like different ways using which we can do this. So the next thing that we are going to discuss is basically f string, and these are the widely used ones, and this is something that I would kind of prefer if I'm creating these dynamic strings in Python. So let's create maybe another section and call this as f strings, and let's try to understand these. So you can again, as I said, collapse all these things. And now let's say uh, something like name is equal to Sid, and I can put, let's say, the age is equal to 25 or something. Let me put this as integer. Let me close this. Okay, so now I'll say output is equal to f. Put, open and close your double quotes here. I can say my name is, again use this curly braces, and yes old. Okay, and finally you can print this output. So this is also basically substituting the values. So here you can just write whatever string you want and just include f before those double quotes here. And when you include that f, it basically do the formatting in such a way that we are going to replace some values. So whatever I put in this variable, that basically represents the sorry, whatever I put in the curly braces are the variables that I've created before. So when I put this in this curly braces, you can notice that the color is black in color, whereas the color of these part of the string is violet in color, right? So that's how we can also understand that whatever you put within this will be variables. So you can't put something that you haven't defined. So I can't put like my name here. So that's going to throw an error, because when you put curly braces, that's expecting a variable and not a string. So if so that's how we can do this. So here I can say name, and we would run this. So this is for simple substitution of strings. And as I said, this is kind of used to dynamically change the values. Like when, let's say that this, when you know that this part of your string is not going to change. So we have this entire string, right? So when you do know that this part is not going to change, and this part is not going to change, and finally this years old part is not going to change, only like few pieces in between is going to change. So in those cases you can put those values in separate variables and then replace those later using this curly braces using this f string. So here again, the we don't have to convert this value, numerical value, into a string, so we don't need to do all that. So all these are taken care of when you use a f string as well. So let's consider that example. So where, let's say that I have this pi value as 3.14, and I'm going to print let's say if value of pi is, open and close your square bracket, and maybe let's put this in uppercase letters for distinction from the variable name. So here I can just say pi and run this. So this is going to say value of pi is 3.14. So for substituting this value, we haven't converted this 3.14 into integer, so we don't have to do that. All those happens kind of internally, so we don't have to worry about that. And the other thing that we can do is we can also round off the values that we are substituting. So here I'll say pi is equal to 3.14159. So this is like the exact like non-rounded value of pi. So here I can say uh, the value of pi rounded to two decimal places is pi, and you can put, so we have to include a f here, and after this pi put a colon dot 2f. So when you say dot 2f, it's going to use only the two decimal places. Let's run this. We have to, so this is actually not rounding but just like showing only two decimal places, so that's like something that you can remember as well. So we have pi and we are using this f string, so that's going to replace whatever is present within this curly braces. But the other addition that we did compared to the previous cases, we have used dot 2f, so that's going to show you only two decimal places. So it would, from this 3.14159, it's going to show you only like 3.14. So if you remove this colon dot 2f, right, so that's going to print the entire number. But again, as I said, if you want to look at only the two decimal values, you can do something like this. So these are some of the basic string formatting that we kind of often do when we are like working some piece of code. So whenever as I said, you want to, don't want to just create some hard coded strings that is static, but want to dynamically change these values in between in a string along the course of your code execution, you can like do something like this. Again, so we have this older methods of, I mean, so concatenation is still used, but this dot format is something that we don't have to use. So rather we can just go with the f strings, that like that's more convenient for us, like instead of all those complications that we have here. So these are some of the examples. I hope that you have understood all this. So please practice these codes as I'm explaining this. You can do this side by side, or you can look at this entire code and you can work on it. I'll try to curate all these notebooks that I'm working on and maybe put this in a GitHub repository or something, so that like it's easier for you to take a reference or something. So I haven't created it and that might take some time, but you can look out for that. So that is all from my side for this video. I'll see you in the next upload. Thanks for watching.